You grew up believing Ford was America. That every truck, every engine, every shift at the local plant was a symbol of American strength. That belief built towns, paid mortgages, sent kids to college. But what if I told you in 2025, even Ford, the brand that defined the US auto industry, is quietly pulling away? No, it's not leaving in protest. It's leaving because it can't afford to stay. Not when Canada is rolling out a better deal, and not when America is making it harder to build the very vehicles that keep its economy moving. Just months ago, Ford committed a staggering $3 billion to expand production, not in Michigan or Ohio, but in Oakville, Ontario. That investment is for its F-Series Super Duty trucks, a product line once proudly built in the American heartland. So why is Canada now the priority? Because the math works better. US energy costs are volatile. Supply chains are tangled. Labor uncertainty is rising. Meanwhile, Canada offers cheap, clean hydroelectric power, a stable workforce, and a government eager to keep jobs flowing in. This isn't a full relocation. It's strategic repositioning. A few thousand jobs here, a new facility there, all adding up to a slow but powerful shift in momentum. Ford's American plants aren't closing overnight, but they are pausing expansion. They are scaling back investment. And for the hundreds of suppliers who depend on Ford's domestic operations, that's terrifying. A wiring subcontractor in Indiana, a tool shop in Kentucky, a seat assembler in Illinois, when Ford looks north, those businesses start bleeding. Quietly. Without headlines. Just cancelled orders and empty shifts. Ford helped create the American middle class. But in 2025, it's becoming a symbol of a hard truth: patriotism doesn't pay the bills. Not when building across the border is faster, cheaper, and more reliable. The badge still says Ford. But the future it's building might be one paved with Canadian concrete. If Ford pulling away feels like a punch to the gut, what about Tesla, the darling of American innovation, the company that wasn't just building cars, but reshaping the future? Elon Musk's empire isn't just an automaker. It's an ecosystem: electric vehicles, solar energy, AI-powered autonomy, battery technology, robotics, and mining. It was America's moonshot. But even that future is starting to drift north. Tesla's operations rely on two things the US is struggling to provide in 2025: reliable electricity and regulatory efficiency. Gigafactories are energy monsters. When power grids buckle, so does productivity. When permits take months or years, investments stall. Meanwhile, provinces like Ontario and Quebec are offering low-cost, renewable hydropower, streamlined permitting processes, and immediate access to raw materials like lithium, nickel, and cobalt that Tesla needs. And Elon isn't waiting. In 2025, Tesla's Canadian operations are quietly scaling. Research centers in Ontario. Battery tech teams in Montreal. Hiring blitzes in Quebec. Canadian governments are courting Tesla hard, and Tesla is responding without making a scene. No bold tweets. No flashy press releases. Just a silent pivot. And every engineering job that moves to Canada, it drags a dozen others with it: software startups, robotic suppliers, chip manufacturers, even vocational training programs. The entire innovation chain follows. So while American cities hold ribbon cuttings and wait for delayed groundbreakings, Canada is quietly building Tesla's next generation. If the future of energy, mobility, and AI is no longer being designed in Silicon Valley or Austin, but north of the border, what does that mean for a country that once prided itself on leading the world? Soup isn't futuristic. It's simple. It's comforting. It's Campbell's. For more than 150 years, that red and white can stood for American stability, especially in hard times. During recessions, during pandemics, during cold winters, Campbell's was a staple in pantries from coast to coast. But even soup isn't safe from the economic pressures of 2025. Campbell's doesn't make aluminum. It buys it. And when tariffs hit Canadian aluminum, the price spike was immediate. Almost 90% of its products come in aluminum cans. Just a 10-cent increase per can threatens the thin margins that keep the company, and its customers, afloat. Working-class families that live on tight budgets don't tolerate price hikes. So Campbell's is now facing a decision: pass on the cost or pivot where it's cheaper to operate. That pivot is already happening. Contracts for packaging are moving to Ontario. Labour searches in Quebec are underway. No big announcements. No layoffs. Just a quiet rebalancing of resources. It's strategic, subtle, and devastating for American supply chains. The carrot farmers in Michigan. The label printers in Ohio. The logistics firms that specialize in domestic food transport. They all feel the tremors. You won't see it on the news, but factories will hire fewer shifts. Orders will slow. Communities will feel something's missing, and not know why. This isn't just about soup. It's about predictability. Campbell's was a symbol of something that doesn't change. But if even your canned comfort food has to go to Canada to survive, what else might already be on its way? Let's talk about aluminum, the metal that powers your life without you even realizing it. It's in your windows, your phone, your car, your plane tickets. And the company behind much of that aluminum is Alcoa. Quiet, industrial, and essential. Alcoa was once the muscle behind modern America. Today, it's slipping out of the country's grasp. Why? Because aluminum production is incredibly energy-intensive. And US energy costs are spiking. Old smelters are falling apart. Tariffs have made imported materials more expensive. Canada, meanwhile, offers the exact opposite: cheap power, efficient plants, and a cooperative regulatory climate. Especially in Quebec, where hydroelectric energy flows freely and cheaply. So Alcoa is making moves. Subtle ones. Production shifts from Texas to Quebec. Fewer rail shipments from Pittsburgh, more port traffic in Montreal. It's not mass layoffs, it's attrition. Fewer night shifts. Fewer maintenance hires. Less capital investment. And it's not just about Alcoa's profits. Every single industry that relies on aluminum, from aerospace to automotive to construction, feels the consequences. When Alcoa slows down in the US, everyone downstream feels the pinch. From the guy driving a forklift in Kentucky to the engineer building jet engines in Kansas. It's a quiet decline. One that doesn't make headlines. But that doesn't make it any less dangerous. You think it's bad now? What happens when the aluminum used to build your planes, homes, and laptops isn't just expensive, but foreign? What happens when control over supply is no longer in US hands? Then there's GM. General Motors. For over a century, it was the heart of American manufacturing. Its plants weren't just workplaces, they were ecosystems. Whole towns lived and died with their local GM factory. But in 2025, GM is doing something it once would have considered unthinkable. It's shifting its center of gravity to Canada. The why is no mystery. GM's production is deeply dependent on a complex web of cross-border components. Wiring harnesses, electronics, frames, engine parts, many sourced from Canada. When Trump's tariffs hit those imports, costs ballooned overnight. But unlike soda or soup, cars can't be marked up on a whim. Consumers are already stretched thin. They are not buying. GM has to find margin somewhere. Canada offers it. Ontario is hiring. Quebec is engineering. Quiet expansions are underway. No press tours. Just CAD files sent to different plants. It's not about loyalty. It's about math. And the math says Canada wins. But that decision has a human toll. In cities like Flint, Detroit, and Janesville, even one fewer shift per week is a blow. Cafes close early. Daycare centers lose kids. The spiral begins. This isn't outsourcing. It's erosion. Slow. Subtle. Relentless. When General Motors, a company whose name practically means American car, starts building more abroad than at home, you've got to ask yourself, what's left of the US industrial soul? And finally, we arrive at the brand that touches more lives daily than maybe any other, Coca-Cola. The fizz. The flavor. The nostalgia. From lunchboxes to sports games to date nights, Coca-Cola is woven into the fabric of America. But in 2025, even this all-American icon is quietly recalculating what home means. Coke consumes staggering volumes of aluminum each year, billions of cans. And when tariffs choked off Canadian imports, the domestic supply couldn't keep up. Prices spiked. Coke faced a choice: eat the cost or shift production. So it started moving. Quietly. Facilities in Ontario got packaging contracts. Quebec became a sourcing hub. American plants slowed. No public backlash because no one noticed. But the outcome is already in motion. Prices creep up. Jobs disappear. And the can that once read Atlanta, Georgia might soon be stamped Ontario, Canada. If Coca-Cola, a brand synonymous with American tradition, finds Canada to be the smarter choice, what happens when others follow? Spoiler, they already are. Just not loudly. Not with fanfare. With silence. So here we are. 6 companies. 6 silent shifts. Not offshore moves to evade responsibility. But next-door decisions made in boardrooms, not headlines. Because right now, Canada offers something America is failing to guarantee. Economic predictability, supply chain stability, and a competitive edge. If this video opened your eyes, even a little, now's your chance to stay informed. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next company sliding across the border. And leave a comment. Do you think America still has time to reverse this trend? Or are we watching the slow migration of the American dream?